And a good midday Sunday, Roger Hill with VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. This is the VELCO Weather Hazards Outlook, which will go into most of the work week through 2 a.m. Saturday morning. Looking at the weather map right now, we have this incessant, almost nearly stuck stationary area of low pressure aloft in the upper levels. This is kind of nudged a little bit further off of Hudson Bay and further off to the east. So generally the trough lines rotating through are a little bit to our east now, and finally we're seeing a little bit better conditions on this Sunday. Looking at a ridge of higher pressure off to the west of us, these indications here are smoke layers across parts of northern Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and so far right now you can see the smoke might get in sort of threaded within the flow here that's going to be taking a track south and east. Will it get into Vermont? We just don't know at this point. Maybe it will stay a little bit further to the north as this moves on a little bit and kind of shifts a little further to the north. But overall, this weather pattern up in Canada has not relented. Just a little bit of a different change going on in terms of its position, and hence that's why we're seeing a weak area of higher pressure and control today. The other thing to look at here is the tropical system. This is a tropical depression forecast to or projected to get into tropical storm territory. Going off the coast, not really going to be a problem. The other ones in the Pacific, no worries there. All the main action with the heat indices, we'll start out with that, is basically down in the southern part of the United States, associated with this big ridge of higher pressure in its heat dome that carries over, and it's a little bit, of course, into the desert southwest as well. Also looking at temperatures this hour, basically from this morning, it's cooled down considerably, and most notably, we're seeing the dew point temperatures lower, and so consequently, that's what that looks like. 50s indeed. This is much, much nicer conditions. Of course, it feels very, very nice on this Sunday afternoon. Let's take a look at the computer modeling. We're going to stick with the European model here. This is valid on Sunday at 2 p.m. And this frontal boundary is going to stay to the north of us today, but it will come and visit us, it looks like, on as we head into Monday. So it dissipates out north of the Canadian border. This is about 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday, starting to show up some showers, a little bit of that affecting northern parts of Vermont, and then spreading south and east. And this will also include some isolated embedded thunderstorms. Right now it looks like a little bit of shear involved, slightly higher wind fields associated with this, but instability-wise, with a lot of cloud cover, more than likely, we're going to keep and dampen down that instability. So not really anticipating anything widespread, but there could be an isolated thunderstorm and may produce wind gusts up around 40 miles per hour. It gets entangled with that shear that's kind of moving through the system, this frontal boundary. Then it dissipates out during the nighttime on Monday night. And then that sets up basically some very fine weather thanks to this area of higher pressure for basically Tuesday, Wednesday, and into the day on Thursday. The only caveat would be, as we head into Thursday night, is a little bit of moisture creep, and right near the Massachusetts line we might see a couple thunderstorms, but overall this weather system is going to hook up with a lot of higher dew points working in from the Ohio River Valley, the Appalachians, and kind of sliding in toward the northeast. So the net effect looks like this with precipitation developing. This would be basically late in the day or late into the evening hours on Friday, and then that works through, it looks through mostly Friday night and into the day on Saturday. And then once that moves on by, another area of higher pressure, signs of the times, is going to start to push on in, and we might see another 3-day stretch of dry weather. So that would be 2 in the period of around, 8 days, 9 days. So consequently, 2 shots for farmers to get their hay cut. This is exactly what the doctor ordered, also drying up the fields. So we have the potential here with another long stretch of dry weather in August, thanks to these Canadian air masses and the cool downs that take place. Let's look at the GFS ensemble. This is the GFS ensemble, of course, centered on the Montpelier grid. And what we're seeing here is dry weather. A little small uptick indicated here for this evening. Ignore that. I don't think it's going to happen. Just a little bit of flare-up of moisture. This is our next culprit here with those showers and thunderstorms moving through on Monday. Again, relatively benign, but 1 or 2 could be approaching strong wind gusts. We'll be watching that again for Monday and have a heads up out for that and all its particulars for Monday morning. After that goes on by, then we get some nice weather until we get into this system here. This is that one that's going to be basically Friday night or Saturday. and a lot of noise in the system for that. But the overall QPF, accumulated precipitation, we're not looking at very much for basically Monday, and then it starts to pick up and maybe over an inch by that point in time. But this is one of the drier weeks we've seen. Thank God, yeah? You can see some of the more rainy scenarios here, sort of across here, a drier scenario here, and a little bit up the East Coast. And right now, Vermont's in that sort of 2 to 2.5 inches. That is close to near normal by the time we get into the end of 7 days. Looking at the sea surface temperature anomalies real quickly here, look at the North Atlantic. It's amazing. Now, the South Atlantic is not as warm, but consequently, we have a slowing of the AMOC, or Atlantic overturning meridional overturning circulation. And basically, it's warming things up closer and closer to New England and the coast off Canada. 2-meter temperatures anomalies look like we're in that slightly cooler air right now, and then of course it's warming up in parts of where this big blocking ridge has been pretty much the culprit here, forcing a trough downstream. So ridge to the west, trough to the east, and indeed that's what has been the main culprit for much of the summer, providing nearly 15 inches of rain in my location in Worcester. Looking at weighted temperatures, we're seeing the minus 6 degrees here in the Northeast Kingdom, otherwise closer to -3. And then this is, of course, the high temperatures of the meteorological output statistics weighted over the course of the next 5 days. You add another 3 days to that, it looks like this, neutral across this region, still running a little bit below normal here in northern New England. With those warm sea surface temperatures, looking at the tropics, really nothing to worry about. We have a disturbance that's going to form and then push its way off the coast and head out like that, out to sea. And then a more important system is about a 40% chance of tropical cyclone formation. And this is going to be taking a track. This is Bermuda. It looks like it swings like this and then curves and goes out to sea as well. And you can see this here, about a 20% chance. And this is about 70% chance over the course of the next 5 days out. And tropical cyclone formation looks like this, according to the European 51-member ensemble. So we have this system here and this system off the South Carolina coast. So as I run the model, you can see that basically things move on out to sea and no threat from the Northeast or the East Coast really in particular. And this goes out quite a ways. That's it from here, Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching. And you can quickly find your county here, looking at Washington County. Up to date, average basin 11.90. It's one of the highest in the state of Vermont. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.